Hi everybody, Martyn the Flicking Feathers again today, and I'm tying Dave's deerhair Deceiver. It's a Dave Olson fly, and you'll find it in the book I've been using for the last couple of months on the channel. It's Saltwater Fly Patterns by Lefty Kreh. If you have the book, you'll find it on page 161. It's on plate M. I'm tying the chartreuse version, but obviously you can tie them in different colours to suit yourself. Now, although this is a saltwater fly, it's designed for fishing on waking kind of near the surface. You could definitely fish it for like black bass and things, and it would work. Now, as always, I'll put a materials list in the description, along with a link to the Patreon page for anybody that wants to support the channel, get access to the online content, and be entered into the giveaways. Alternatively, you can like the video, share the video, watch it all the way to the end. All of that helps the channel to grow. Right, so I've got my hook, my vise. This is a size 2 SL11 3H Gamakatsu, but use your preferred hook. And I'm just going to tie it with, I'm going to tie most of the fly with gel spun. So I'm going to run that on the length of the shank. Right now, people will often say that if you're tying with, if you're spinning deer hair, you need a bare shank. You don't. That's nonsense. And I'll illustrate that it is in a minute. There's nothing difficult about deer hair, right? Spinning anyway. Stacking needs a bit of practice and work, but spinning hair is a doddle, right? You can do it no problem. Just don't be intimidated by it. So the first thing I'm going to tie in, I've got some chartreuse bucktail, and I'm just, it was kind of uneven there, so I'm just sort of hand stacking it. You know, I don't want the ends all that paintbrush, but the hand stack is enough there just to get it kind of, take the extreme long hairs, that's why I always take it away, out of the bunch. And I'm just going to tie this in. I'm going to come along once everything's really secure and bunched in. From that way I don't like it. I'm going to put an angle in. An angled cut. Make sure none of my waist is going forward of the hook eye or anything like that. And then it's just a case of coming down and keeping this nice and tidy, right? And getting a nice clean underbody. Right, my bobbin's very squeaky, so I'm just going to rub it in my nose. The oils for your nose are usually enough to take the squeak away. Nice and smooth. Then I'll come back. I'm going to tie in a couple of saddle hackles either side of the bucktail. Now it's up to yourself. In the picture in the book, there's a white version and a chartreuse version. The chartreuse version looks like they're tied sort of roofed in, and the white version, it looks like they're tied splayed. So do what you want. I'm going to tie them splayed. I like the look of them splayed, just to get that bit of swim, a wee bit of extra kick in them. So I'll kind of judge my length, strip off the worst of the fluff just so that I can size the feathers as much as anything else. I'll be tying in, I'm not going to tie on the bare stem. Get the fourth one in. I mean, you don't need to be exact, but get them thereabouts. That's 2. And I want you to be just sort of shy of the overall length of the tail. I mean, I suppose you could tie them longer if you want it, to be honest. It's, you know, suit yourself. Play about with the part and see what you like. So just catch this in on my side. I'm dragging them in so that the part of the feather where there's still some barbs is there, right, because this has got to help stabilise everything. And then these 2, which we'll do on your side. You can lash off 4 in at the same time if you want. I prefer to do it separately. Take a sort of loose wrap, another one, and then another, and then I can sort of tighten and see how they're sitting. Move them so they're not rolling. Then just make sure they're the same length on either side. Just a wee bit here. Spot on. And then again, get these locked in, and you see I'm taking touch and turns, right? I'm maintaining a nice clean underbody, right? I'm not letting there be any lumps or bumps or uneven parts or anything like that. But sticking up, I'm just making sure I'm going forward with touch and turns of thread. Nice and clean, right? As long as that's clean, the deer hair will spin. It looks like the camera's just about to die, so I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I've got a fresh battery in. You can see I'm still just sitting here. I'm going to now stick in some crystal flash. About half a dozen per side. So I'll do your side first. Don't be too worried about this. You might move it a wee bit when you are you might move the crystal flash a bit when you spin the hair. So you can see him coming right down. Got to fold it over on my side. Again, nice and smooth underbody. I'll make sure that tie-in's nice and clean and straight. See if I've moved that saddle there with a wrap of thread at some point, so I'm just forcing it back and take a wee wrap, a securing wrap over it. But while I've done that, I've moved my crystal flash. Just make sure it's right before you go any further, because once it's in and you start spinning the hair, that's it. There's nothing to be done. You need to just destroy the whole fly to get back and fix that. So I've got to clean that up. Again, making sure nice and clean. Now to create a kind of separation, I'm going to half hitch this, right? And that just means, like, when I pull on the deer hair as I tighten it up, there's not going to be any tendency for the stuff below to try to be pulled with it. Cement. What cement this? Right. There's just, I mean, this is kind of durability as much as anything, and you'll see I'm going to add cement between the different spins of hair, and I've also can, you know, the solvent, I'll hit that as well, and it'll bond, it'll become a single piece. So chartreuse deer hair, belly hair. Right. Now, I've said this before, I'll say it again, spinning deer hair is easy, right? I don't understand when people say they can't, oh, spinning deer hair's hard, they can't do it. I mean, maybe the first time you try it, it's not perfect, but that's just doing anything right, practice. The key thing is having decent hair. This is a nice piece of belly hair I've got. It's not too fuzzy, but I'm going to clean it. Right, I'm going to open that bunch, and I'm coming in, and I use Velcro. I think Velcro's better than a comb. Right, it grabs all the fuzz, all the underfur, all the broken bits. Leaves you a nice clean bunch, right? You must clean the hair, right? Now, I'm leaving the tips on this first punch, but I'm not stacking it. I mean, you could, but I think you're better to leave it and get kind of bit more natural taper. I'm going to come back so it's about half the length of the tail. Something like that. When it flares, it'll kind of pull forward slightly, so I like that there, right? Get some nice, this is nice long belly here, so I can do that. Yeah, it's 2 lap wraps, so no tight, and then I'm just going to pull, and it'll spin. You can, at the back of the hook here where it catches the hook point, you might need to come in and sort of free it with your bodkin, and then just have a quick look around, make sure you've got nice even coverage, which I have, and then you can sort of work your thread forward. Try not to, you don't want to trap any flat, get a wee wiggle, put it tight. That looks good. And then I'm going to just repeat this. I'm going to push it back, try to kind of pack it in. Get a few wraps in front, because you want it fairly tight. You could stack this if you want it, but I'm just going to spin it, right? This is not really like a popper, so you don't need that supreme density of the hair. You can get it tight enough just by spinning and packing it back. So I put a wee drop of head cement there, and at the base of the tie-in, I'm going to take another bunch of hair, and I've got a good clump. This is maybe a pencil and a half, 2 pencils. Open it out. Brush it clean. Now, take the tips off. Take the tips away, because it means it's easier for you to see when you come to trim the fly. 2 turns, pull, and it'll spin round just perfect. I mean, and it is really that easy, right? You don't need to do anything fancy. If it doesn't go completely, you can just push it. Right. Now, because I've got a fairly large arbor here that I'm going to run because of the material, I had to give that a wee push, but you don't always need to do that. And then just force it back. I've got a packer there, but at this stage I'm okay with my hands, I think. Yeah, look, that's fine. Again, just push it back, grab everything, get your thread in front, tighten up. Cement. That kind of medium consistency cement there. It's not super runny, but it's not super thick either, so it can soak in a bit. Another clump. This might be my last clump, we'll see. Clean. Take the tips away. And you can use liquid fusion, which is a good adhesive in there as well, but it's a bit messy when you're spinning. What's great for stacking. So again, just the 2 wraps, and then pull, just guide it around. There we go. Looks like I'm going to have one more bunch of hair, which is fine. Now, the amount of hair is increasing, so I'll use the packer just to get a bit more pressure. I'm putting an awful lot of pressure on this. Right, when you see there, I'm actually moving the hook, and the hook's tight when I'm doing that with my finger. It wouldn't move under normal circumstances. I could tighten it up a bit more, but I don't want to. So again, a bit of super glue, no super glue, head cement. Don't use super glue, you'll end up with a brittle fly, and it's not so waterproof anyway. So I've got space for another bunch. You don't always lift exactly the same size of bunches. Sometimes you only get you only need 3. Well, for a certain size, you only need. You'll never be far away. Sometimes you might need a wee half bunch or a wee extra bunch or something, but not a huge difference. So last one. There we go, just spin it, let it flow around. And you can see I'm nearly at the eye there, but I've got a wee bit of space, and I'm going to pack it again. I'm going to take my wee bit of plastic. Put a hole in it and a wee strip. This is just a plastic bag. Come through the gap in the slit that I cut in the material, and then I'm going to tie right back, and this will just let me get this whip finished and locked in place. Nice and clean. Now the trimming, I normally don't do it in my vise because it's a mess and it's a pain, but I'll try to do it so that you can see as best I can. So I'm going to take a straight razor blade and just come back along the belly. I don't want to disturb that collar of hair tips. I want it quite close. So I've got plenty of hook gape exposed. And then I'm going to sort of do something kind of similar on the sides, but slightly angling out like a tapered cut. And much the same. You'll get a couple of flies out of a blade edge, probably maybe 3 if you're lucky. Because this is just spun, it's no really densely packed, densely stacked hair. It's no bad. So I've cut a kind of rough shape. I need to take it out and have a look at it. I can't do all of it in the vise. Now, I like to look at it from above. I'm looking down on the fly to sort of see what the sides are like, first of all. Then I'll come in and sort of trim that. Take the corners off, sort of just to round it out a bit, make it a wee bit more natural looking. Then even up the belly. Now you can be as fussy or not as you like with this. And you can make them bulkier or skinnier. I'm just going to come in, just pulling the long tips away. You can see that lets you see these the cut ends to be trimmed. Come in, just use your scissor edge. I mean, do the fish care? Absolutely not, but you want to have a kind of nice fly. And the scissors are easier to do that with than the razor blade. And I just like to kind of come in. You can sort of see how it is, get a wee squeeze and all that. See where the hair wants to be. And I mean, God, you could trim these until there's nothing left. So I put a wee slight curve in my razor blade just to round the top, and then I want to just tidy that slightly. Again, just take any really straight corners off. Right, that'll do. It's no super neat, but it's neat enough. Right? And certainly as soon as you catch a fish on it, you know, it'll roughen up anyway. So we'll just start some chartreuse Danvils here. I'm not too worried about the deer hair at the front there, it's trimmed in close, and if you want to you can actually sort of tie back into it. Almost like a G&H sedge. Right, you can tie back there, and if you displace the shape of the hair with that, you can just sort of, do that, trim that up. Hackle at the front, same hackle as is in the back, same saddle. Clean up the base, tie it in, nice and tight. Trim that away, and then I'll just double it and wind it. A couple of turns, just maybe 3, is plenty. You know, you don't want a big dense hackle in this, it's just, I mean, in the book it says the guy that ties this, whatever his name is, Olson, says the hackle's quite important. I don't really know what the hackle's actually doing, that he thinks it's important, but fair enough. So get that tied in. Make a nice clean head. Couple of hot finishes. Fly's done basically, a bit of head cement. There we go. So that's it. That's Dave's deer hair seducer, deer hair deceiver, sorry. Once it's had a wee swim, the back collar sort of forms to the shape a bit more, but you get the idea. That's the fly. And I hope that was useful. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to give me a thumbs up below, and I'll see you for another one. Tight lines, guys. Bye.